There is a hidden secret within the ancient traditions that almost nobody notices. The great civilizations of the past never created their myths simply to tell stories about gods, battles, or heroes. Behind every symbol, there was a message about the human being. They understood that the greatest battle of existence does not happen outside of us. It happens in a place that cannot be seen, inside consciousness itself. Because there is a difference between what we show to the world and what we truly are. And perhaps the greatest mistake a human being can make is to spend an entire lifetime protecting a mask, without ever discovering who is behind it. Every day we create characters. We build an image, a name, a story, a personality. But who is the one observing all of this? Who is the one that remains while everything else changes? The ancient philosophers said that the body changes, emotions change, thoughts change, and roles change. But there is something deeper, a presence that watches all these transformations. The Greeks called it the soul, and what we use to walk through the world is only a temporary garment, a mask, a persona. The problem begins when we forget that we are wearing a mask, when the actor believes he is the character, when the human being believes he is only his body, his desires, his achievements, his fears, and his experiences. At that moment, he stops leading his own life. He becomes controlled by what he was supposed to simply use. Maybe this is why so many people reach the end of their greatest achievements and still feel that something is missing. They built an entire life, but they forgot to build themselves. And to understand this mystery, the ancient ones looked at nature itself. They realized that everything in the universe works through complementary forces. Nothing exists alone. Night reveals the value of light. Silence reveals the power of sound. The empty space allows form to exist. Strength needs sensitivity. Movement needs balance. The world does not grow by eliminating differences. It grows through harmony between them. And this is how the ancients understood the feminine. Not as a matter of competition, but as a symbol of a universal force. A force of consciousness itself. The feminine represented the ability to create, nurture, transform, unite, and reveal. And in Greek mythology, this force was expressed through different archetypes, different faces of the same wisdom. The first was Athena. Athena did not represent intelligence alone. She represented a higher intelligence, the ability to master your own strength. Because there is a difference between having power and having wisdom. Power without awareness destroys. But when strength finds balance, it becomes creation. Athena teaches us that the true warrior is not the one who defeats everyone around them. It is the one who has learned to govern themselves. The unconscious human reacts, the awakened human chooses. Then comes Aphrodite. For a long time she was reduced to beauty and desire. But the ancients saw something much deeper. Aphrodite was the symbol of union, the force capable of overcoming separation. Because true love is not born from the need to possess, it is born from the ability to recognize. When two consciousnesses meet in a profound way, something changes. The feeling of separation begins to dissolve. For a moment, the ego stops dominating, and we perceive something the ancient traditions repeated in different forms. There is a hidden unity behind all diversity. Then we find Artemis, the guardian of purity. But not a superficial purity. She represents something much rarer, the ability to remain loyal to what is highest within us. We live in a time where everything tries to capture our attention, desires, fears, comparisons, impulses. Artemis symbolizes the human being who refuses to waste their energy, the one who chooses where their power goes, because whatever receives our attention grows, and whatever we feed within ourselves eventually becomes our destiny. Demeter reveals another mystery. She represents the force that allows something to grow, the mother, the nurturer, the one who transforms a small seed into life. But her symbol goes beyond motherhood, because every one of us carries this ability. We can all create something, an idea, a transformation, a higher level of awareness. But for that to happen, we must learn to nurture what truly matters. Because whatever is not cared for, eventually disappears. Hera appears as the force of commitment. And perhaps this is one of humanity's greatest tests. Because it is easy to follow a value when everything is favorable. The real test is remaining faithful when nobody is watching. Hera represents the inner vow, the decision to obey principles greater than temporary desires. Without this, the human being becomes only a reflection of the environment. Thinking like everyone else, wanting what everyone else wants. Following the same path as everyone else, but the awakened person realizes there is something beyond the collective. There is an inner direction, and then we reach Hestia, the guardian of the sacred flame, the center. the place inside us where silence exists. In ancient traditions, fire was sacred because it represented what remains alive, the flame that cannot be extinguished. Hestia reminds us that life needs meaning, because when everything loses meaning, even the greatest achievements become empty. But when there is purpose, even the smallest action transforms. A simple act can carry dignity. A small choice can reveal character. An ordinary life can become a conscious life. But the ancients understood something even deeper. It was not enough to know the gods. You had to embody them. That is why heroes existed, because the gods represented a possibility. But the hero represented that possibility becoming real through a human being. The hero feels fear. The hero faces conflict. The hero walks through uncertainty. But the hero awakens something within. And perhaps this is why heroes have always been so important. They remind humanity of what it can become. Today, many people have idols, but few have true models of transformation. Because an idol shows an image, a hero shows a path. The hero is not perfect. The hero is someone who conquered themselves. And this is the hidden message behind these myths. The goddesses were not only on Mount Olympus, they were inside the human psyche. Athena appears when we choose wisdom over impulse. Aphrodite appears when we choose union over separation. Artemis appears when we choose purity over distraction. Demeter appears when we choose to nurture and help something grow. Hera appears when we choose principles over convenience. Hestia appears when we return to our center. Perhaps the greatest mystery of existence is this. We spend our lives searching for answers outside ourselves. We look for teachers. We look for places. We look for symbols. But all these paths point to the same destination, within. Because the true temple was never built from stone. It was built inside consciousness. And within every human being there is a door. Behind that door exists a force that has not yet awakened. A wisdom that has not yet been revealed. A higher version of who you can become. The question is, will you continue living as a mask? Or will you finally discover who is looking through it?